All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Zimmerman. I'm the president here at BJ Insurance. Um, Jen Wagoner here with OneAmerica, one of our dear friends, and one of our exceptional regional reps at the carrier, is hosting this today. She was in our office, about a week or so ago, and went through this presentation. And we thought it was excellent, unique, and OneAmerica is a leader in this side of the business, this hybrid version. And that's why we decided to put this thing out there for everyone to see. So Jen is going to post, if she hasn't already, in the chat box some downloadable screenshots or PowerPoints that she's put together on this thing. So Jen, how do you want to do it? You want to open it to have questions, raise her hand through the chat, or you want to take them live or wait to the end? How would you like to do that?
Yeah, why don't we wait to the end and then I'll open it up for questions. And like Barry said, if you pull up your chat, I've got four PDFs that is downloadable that will tie into the presentation today. So feel free to download that and there's one piece in there that is a client facing piece. So the others are all producer facing pieces.
Okay, but everyone can send chat questions along the way.
Yeah, and
And
we
then
can address it at the end. Yeah.
all right, Jen, it's all yours.
All right. So, really, what I'm excited to talk about today is a powerful way to reposition old annuities and unlock tax-free money for long-term care. All right. So, here's a few questions that I would like for you to ask yourself and ask your clients as well. One, do your clients have annuities they've never touched and probably never will? The other question is, are they sitting on large gains with no clear purpose? And then the last question, do you want to generate revenue from stuck annuities? Kind of using this probably unprofessional word, but stuck annuities. Yeah. So, what if you could help your clients erase future taxes on those annuities? Maybe make a compliant recommendation and generate new revenue and make it easy for them and for yourself. So here's the reality. Most people are buying annuities for tax deferred growth, income security, as well as guarantees. But plans change. Many people end up using that money for emergencies or more commonly for medical bills or even long term care. So, in fact, according to a 2022 Gallup survey, 84% said they'll use their annuities if they or their spouse live longer than expected. And 79% want to avoid becoming a financial burden on their kids. And 67% specifically plan to use it for nursing home care or even a serious illness. So here's where the Pension Protection Act of 2006 comes in. It allows your clients to reposition a non qualified annuity into an annuity that qualifies for benefits outlined in the PPA or the Pension Protection Act. So, PPA is kind of the acronym that we're using for Pension Protection Act. And this can mean tax-free withdrawals for long-term care expenses. So let me kind of illustrate this and elaborate on this a little bit more. So, with an existing annuity for withdrawals taken, it will be lifeful, last in, first out. So the gains or the growth is the last that goes into this policy. Therefore, it is the first to come out and it's the portion that is taxable. Some taxes to consider would be federal income tax, state income tax, provisional income tax. So this will be like Social Security as well as Medicare premiums. So the more taxable income you show to the government, the potential that you're going to pay more Medicare premiums due to it being based on your income. So with the Pension Protection Act or the PPA, you may 1035 exchange your annuity from the previous company or your current company that your annuity is held in to a long-term care qualifying annuity that meets the definition of the PPA or the Pension Protection Act. If used for qualifying long-term care expenses, all the gains, all the growth that would have been taxable is now tax-free. This makes your ability to stretch a dollar much, much further. So how does the existing annuity, so a current traditional style annuity, compare to a Pension Protection Act long-term care qualifying annuity? So I've got a side-by-side chart that I want to share with you here. You'll notice same tax-deferred growth, same access to account value, but now you'll notice the difference with a PPA-compliant annuity that it's tax-free payouts for long-term care. You can also add a spouse for shared purposes or shared benefits, and you can access our claims concierge. So this is very unique with OneAmerica, where we provide a VIP type of handling with all of our claims benefits and all of our claims that comes in. So this includes family members being able to reach out to our claims department as well, so that family members aren't stuck managing all the bills and all the paperwork. So let's take a look at some hypothetical annuity examples here. So here's a real live example. So if you were going to run a quote right now, this is what it would look like. Here we have a 75-year-old client. She has an annuity. She bought it years and years ago. It grew significantly with more taxable gains than what she initially put in. So if she were to reposition this by doing a 1035 exchange into a Pension Protection Act annuity, like OneAmerica's, and by the way, let me just add this disclaimer before we go into the numbers here. There are only 3 PPA compliant annuity carriers out in the marketplace. So 3 Pension Protection Act compliant annuities. So OneAmerica happens to be one of the 3. So if she were to reposition this into OneAmerica's PPA compliant annuity, this is what it would look like on a fixed annuity care product. So this one has, it's a little bit more conservative. It has a fixed interest rate. So this is as conservative as you can possibly get. So if she repositioned that 200,000 into OneAmerica, she would receive $6,023 a month in long-term care coverage. That's completely tax-free. So even with all the gains that we transferred over to our annuity care product, those gains, so let's just say 50% of her 200,000 happens to be gains. So she put in 100, it grew to 100,000. If she were to keep her annuity where it is and access the 200,000 taking withdrawals, the 100,000 in gains would be taxable first before she hits cost basis. By transferring it into OneAmerica, the 6,000 is the maximum monthly benefit that we're paying out completely tax-free for her. And that full amount will be tax-free, including any initial growth that we add into the policy for long-term care purposes. So in this case, at year 1, so as soon as that policy is issued, we are already giving her over $207,000 in an immediate long-term care value to use up. Again, she transferred over 200. She's getting initially almost 208,000 at year 1, all tax-free. And let's fast forward that to 20 years. You'll notice that now in 20 years, the projected growth is over $419,000 available tax-free. And if she never needs care at all, if she passes away, never tapping into this policy, guess what? The account value passes on to her beneficiaries or onto her heirs. In this case, being that it's more conservative, $390,000 would pass on to her beneficiaries. The beauty of this product is that she would be instantly approved by answering no to 4 knockout questions on the application. That's it. Answer no to the 4 knockout questions, which I'll show you momentarily. She'll be instantly approved. And in this more conservative annuity care product, the elimination period, because this is still considered a long-term care policy, the elimination period would just be 7 days. All right, we've got one more option for your clients. Let's say same client, but she's a little bit more aggressive. She's okay with some more growth in her annuity. So this one is the indexed annuity care that I'm going to show you here. So again, same 75-year-old client. She bought her policy years and years and years ago. It has significant growth in it. So let's just stick to that same 50-50 split. She's got 50%, 100,000 in cost basis, and she's got 100,000 in gains. In this particular policy, because it's an indexed annuity care, there's going to be a lot more growth in it. So her first year, if she went to issue the policy and then goes on claim the first year, this policy is paying out $8,429 a month, completely tax-free until we've exhausted that long-term care pool of $202,000. So we give her a little bump from her initial premium the first year. Let's fast forward this into 20 years. Now we see that her projected growth is over $600,000 that's available completely tax-free for her in 20 years. This also includes an automatic step-up option for long-term care to be in addition to her cash value growth. So not only is she seeing growth from, whatever strategy was selected for her with the indices within our indexed annuity care, but there's also a guaranteed increase, this automatic step-up option, in addition to that cash value growth. So if she passes away, never uses this policy for long-term care whatsoever, her beneficiaries would receive the cash value account, and in 20 years is projected to be over $500,000, and that will pass on to her beneficiaries. So just like the other policy, instant approval. She would be instantly approved, no underwriting other than the 4 knockout questions on the application. She just needs to answer no to those knockout questions. Now, the difference between the elimination period on this indexed annuity care versus annuity care 1, remember, annuity care has a 7-day elimination period. This one has a 60-day elimination period. All right, so let's talk about some of the advantages of just utilizing this instant approval PPA compliant annuity care product suite that we have, because there's only 2 products here with this base only strategy. So you've got the annuity care 1, which happens to be more conservative. It's a fixed interest annuity care annuity. And then the second one is the indexed annuity care. So it's an indexed annuity that we're using. You'll get instant approval if you use an e-application. So if you go through iPipeline, you'll get the immediate instant approval. You'll see the message display on the screen, and you can get the instant approval up to $1 million. The issue age is 85 years old, but with home office approval, we'll go all the way up to age 87. So when you're looking at existing annuities in your book of business, right? The fact that we can go pretty high, pretty higher in age says a lot compared to other annuities out in the marketplace. Also, if you're worried about suitability for us, we haven't had a suitability issue. We had one situation out of all the years that we've had this product, and we've had this product out since I would say 2006 was when we first launched our product. we've had one suitability issue. So we've had this product a long time. There's really no suitability hurdles that you have to worry about because of the fact that there isn't any surcharges when they're trying to tap into this policy for long-term care purposes. And all the benefits that are paying out of this policy completely tax-free. So again, with suitability concerns, very, 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 very minimal or non-existent whatsoever. Also, because of this strategy, there's no underwriting. There's no full underwriting, just those 4 knockout questions that I'll show you momentarily. Also, the benefits are tax-free for long-term care expenses. So as long as they're exercising the policy for long-term care expenses, all those gains that we put into the policy that we transferred over, as well as any additional growth on top of what they've transferred over, will be paid out completely tax-free. And yes, even spouses can be added onto the policy and we can make this a joint policy. So now both insured will be able to tap into this pool of money, including the growth, completely tax-free. And remember what I mentioned about our claims benefit, our care benefit concierge or claims concierge. Families have access to the claims concierge. And I want to emphasize this because this in itself is priceless. To be able to utilize an expert in the claims department to help navigate paperwork, trying to understand what, forms and facilities or agencies like home care agencies need in order to process claims. Just having someone to be an advocate for the family to navigate through the claims process is important. And all of our claims department and representatives are not outsourced. We do not outsource it to a third party. Our claims department is with OneAmerica in the home office in Indianapolis, Indiana. So that's a big deal that we pride ourselves on here at OneAmerica. All right, so the moment that you've been waiting for, what are these knockout questions? So take a look. You'll notice there's 5 on here, but that 5th question says yes and no. As long as your client, and you're going to be asking these questions when you're taking the application or your agent's taking the application, as long as the client can answer no to the first 4 questions, instant approval. The last question, because of how we filed the application, we're going to ask about Social Security disability income benefits, but it doesn't matter how they answer it. Could be yes, could be no, doesn't matter. It was just how we filed it. So the question happens to be on the application, but it's not going to affect their instant approval. So again, as long as they can answer no to the first 4 questions, automatically approved for this product. I'm going to just leave it up for a second so that you may be able to see and read through each one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up for questions. All right, I'm going to open it up for questions. Let me see here. And just a reminder, remember, I have 4 attachments, PDFs in the chat for you to download. One of them is the side-by-side comparison, which was on the slide that I showed you that shows, if you kept your existing annuity where it is, what are the benefits that you receive? And then a side-by-side comparison to if you were to 1035 exchange that existing annuity into a PPA-compliant annuity, what are the additional benefits that you would see? So that side-by-side comparison is in the chat to download. And then the knockout questions that I just showed you, one of the pieces I have attached has the knockout questions on there. And then
Hey, Jen, is a question for you. What if my wife and I both have annuities? Is there a joint product?
this is joint, so you can add your spouse onto this policy.
But if we both had money?
So if you both have your own, let's say, existing annuity, you can transfer, you'll set up two separate policies and you can make them both joint. And then when you go on claim, you can trigger and activate both policies and stack benefits at the same time. I hope, I hope, Barry, I answered your question.
You did. You did. I wasn't sure if you put two annuities into one product. If
We
you both
wouldn't
had
be
your
able
separate
to
ones.
do that. We'll just set it up as two separate annuities.
Okay.
Yep. Great question. Oh, we've got, oh, where's the attachment? Oh, you're not seeing it. Let me see if I can re-add it on here. I put it on early in the, I put it on,
See,
loaded it early. So let's see. I just loaded back in the chat again. Are you able to see that? Oh, perfect. Okay. Yay. Here I am talking about these attachments and it wasn't even in the chat. All right. Any other questions? Because if there's no question, that means I did a really fantastic job of really explaining how this Pension Protection Act works with our with existing annuities and how you can really turn tax deferred gains into tax-free benefits.
Jen, thank you. I'll say on behalf of all of us here at BGA, when we met with you the last time, we all went back and ran the numbers on ourselves with annuities and stuff, and we all thought the product is absolutely sensational based on the things we've been talking about. So we've all crunched the numbers. So if anyone's on this today would like to learn more, just look at themselves or look at their clients or their spouses. We would love to talk to you and show you how well this product works.
Excellent. All right. Really,
Thank you, Jen.
that's it for me. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day and take care.